Hello, future designers and developers, and welcome to a quick tutorial on IDs and classes. So IDs and classes are special selectors that we can assign to different HTML elements, such as an H1, a paragraph, a div, whatever it may be. We can assign an ID or class to it. Classes are intended to take multiple different selectors or divs, whatever it may be, and give them all the same characteristics. So let's start with classes. So inside of my opening H1 tag, inside of my HTML file, I am going to assign this a class of important text. Oh, I think I already have important text. I'm going to call this super important. Super important. That is the name of my class over here. So I'm going to use this class to make changes to this portion of HTML. So inside of here, I'm going to call out that class. So instead of calling my H1 tag, which would change all of my H1s, I don't want to do that. So instead, I am going to call out a dot super important. And there we go. I have my selector for this now. So let's say that I want to change that color to red. And now, there we go. It's red. So I can take this class and I can apply it to another tag that we have. So I'm going to highlight this. Let's move it into the important text. We also want that to have a super important. But we don't want this H1 to have this. So this allows us to select individual H1s and maybe leave an H1 differently. So that is awesome. Class is allowing us to distinguish what we are assigning properties to and what we are not. We can also assign it to ones that are not H1s. So we can assign it to this paragraph as well, making this text at the bottom over here red. So that's pretty cool. The other thing that we can do is we can give something an ID. An ID should be used only for one individual element. That is a rule of thumb. You should stick away from using an ID to identify multiple ones. That's what you should use a class for. IDs are used for specific H1s or H tag, whatever. It doesn't matter if it's an H1 paragraph, whatever it may be. We should only use each ID once. So for this one, we're going to specifically call this is the somewhat important text. So let's say that this is not a disclaimer. I already used that. I'm going to say that this is our contract. It's an important one. So for this one, I'm going to call out that ID so I can use the hashtag instead of the period. This is how we start the selector for our IDs, and then contract. And over here, we can now use the color property to assign this one blue. So we have shown how we can use classes. We can apply it to multiple elements, even if they are different types of elements, and then we can use an ID to identify one individual element and assign it properties inside of the CSS. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.